The empires reckoning the Galactic Empire prided itself on order. Planets were conquered, species assimilated or eradicated. Humanity had been a thorn in their side for centuries, stubborn and resilient. But the Empire had ways of breaking even the strongest. On a distant colony, deep in the dark reaches of space, lived a man named Darius Holt. He was once a warrior, a rebel against the Empire, but he had given up the fight. He had built a new life, a quiet one, with a family of his own, his children. 100 of them, spread across the colony, his legacy. But the Empire never forgets. One evening, under the cold glow of twin moons, the sky burned red as Imperial dreadnoughts descended. The air screamed with the shriek of death machines. Darius ran, his heart pounding as he rushed to save his children. One by one, their homes were turned to ash. Their screams echoed in the night. He fought. Oh, how he fought! But for every soldier he tore down, 100 more replaced them. And the Empire, cruel in its efficiency, wanted him to suffer. They left him alive. Morning came, and the world was silent. His children, gone. 100 graves in the dust. The Empire had left only one message, etched into the blackened ruins of his home: you took our future. We took yours. And as Darius fell to his knees, hollow and broken, something inside him twisted. His grief became something else. Something darker. The Empire thought they had ended him, they had only created a monster. And in the silent void of space, a new legend began, the tale of the man who would bring the Empire to its knees, one bloody step at a time. The Empire's blood moon. The Galactic Empire had always ruled with an iron fist, but no one expected the horror that would unfold on the blood moon of Carvos-9. It started with whispers. 100 human children, taken from colonies across the outer rim, were transported to an Imperial research station orbiting a dying red star. Parents pleaded, rebels threatened, but the Empire remained silent. Then came the screams. A lone maintenance droid, drifting among the wreckage of a rebel skirmish, intercepted a transmission from the research station. A desperate, terrified voice, perhaps a scientist, perhaps a prisoner, was repeating a single message. They woke it up. The Empire thought they could control it. The children, they're gone. It took them. It's still hungry. The droid transmitted the message before being obliterated by an Imperial patrol. But the rebels heard it. When they finally reached the station, they found it abandoned. The halls were silent, save for the flickering of failing lights. The air smelled of metal, burned flesh, and something wrong. In the medical bay, restraint chairs sat empty, straps shredded as if something had torn its way free. The only clue? A massive hole in the hull, leading into the cold void of space. No bodies. No signs of a struggle. Just deep claw marks along the walls, like something enormous had crawled through. And then, the final message came through the station's dying intercom. The Empire thought they could use it, but it only listens to the children now. And they are calling it home. Then the lights went out and the screaming began again. The 100 and the Empire. They called themselves the 100. The last free humans in the galaxy. When the Galactic Empire rose, it did what all empires do: it expanded, conquered, and erased. Planets burned. Civilizations fell. Billions were enslaved or exterminated. But the 100 survived, hiding in the ruins of forgotten worlds, plotting, whispering of rebellion. And then, one day, they vanished. No bodies. No wreckage. No distress signals. One moment, they were sending transmissions across the stars, defying the Empire's rule. The next, silence. The Empire declared victory. The 100 are no more, they proclaimed. But in the deep void, on uncharted frequencies, strange transmissions began to echo. Distorted voices. Words spoken in dead human languages. Messages that no one should understand, yet they did. Imperial officers reported hearing whispers in their quarters, always at 3:17 a.m. Soldiers vanished from secured stations, their last words caught on security logs: they're here. Entire starships went dark, found drifting with no crew, only strange symbols scratched into the walls. The 100 were gone. But something else remained, and it was hunting. The 100 lost stars. The Galactic Empire had conquered countless worlds, their iron rule stretching across the void. To them, humanity was nothing more than an insignificant species, a minor conquest in their endless expansion. But humans were stubborn, resistant, unpredictable. To break their spirit, the Empire devised the tribute of 100. Every standard year, they took 100 human children from occupied planets. No one knew where they went, only that they never returned. Then, one year, something changed. The return it started with whispers in the Empire's data streams. Patrol ships in deep space reported strange readings, ghostly signals, silent vessels adrift where no ships should be. The Empire dismissed it as cosmic noise until a warship, the Iron Judgment, found a drifting vessel near the ruins of Earth. Inside, 100 children stood in eerie silence, eyes black as the void. The captain, hardened by war, felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Where have you been?" he demanded. One child, a girl with pale skin and hollow eyes, stepped forward. Her voice was not her own, it echoed with a chorus of voices. "We were given, to the dark between the stars." The lights flickered. Shadows stretched unnaturally. Then the screaming started. One by one, the crew vanished, devoured by unseen horrors. The captain barely managed to transmit a warning before the Iron Judgment became another ghost ship, but it was too late. The children were already on their way home, and they were not alone. The 100 silent screams. The galactic empire was vast, stretching across thousands of star systems, swallowing entire civilizations under its cold, iron grip. But no planet suffered as much as Earth. Humans had resisted too long, their rebellion a thorn in the Emperor's side. So, when the war was lost, the punishment was absolute. The Empire's warships descended on Earth, glassing its cities and silencing its leaders. Yet, the cruelest act came after the war, when the Empire chose to make an example of Earth's children. The order was given: 100 human children would be taken from their families, locked aboard a dark vessel called the Silence of Stars. The Empire declared that these children would be given a merciful fate, but the truth was far worse. No one knew what happened to them inside that ship. There were no screams, no signals, just silence. The vessel never docked, never opened. It became a ghost ship, drifting through space, sealed tight. For decades, rumors spread. Some said the ship still floated in the void, the spirits of the children trapped within. Others claimed Imperial officers sometimes received distress calls from it, whispering in broken, static-filled voices, "It's dark. We are still here. Please, help us." One day, the ship returned. It drifted into the Empire's capital, docking itself in the Emperor's private bay. No one had summoned it. No crew were aboard. Only the 100 empty seats in a pitch-black room. And then, the screaming began. The Emperor was found dead in his throne, his eyes frozen in terror. His palace burned without a single soldier setting it alight. And across the Empire, officers and soldiers who had once stood by as the children were taken, began to disappear. The Empire tried to destroy the ship, sending a fleet to obliterate it. But the Silence of Stars never broke, never burned. It simply drifted onward, hunting those who had taken the children. One by one. The galactic empire was vast, stretching across millions of systems. It ruled with an iron grip, crushing any resistance before it could take root. But no act of terror compared to what happened on Kasari Prime. Kasari was a small colony, home to barely 10,000 humans. It was quiet, unimportant, until the Empire decided otherwise. One evening, without warning, the skies above the settlement burned red as Imperial warships descended. No declaration, no demands. Only orders. They wanted the children. 100 children, between the ages of 5 and 12, were taken. Their parents begged, screamed, fought, but against the Empire, there was no victory. The children were loaded onto a black transport, their faces pale with fear, and the ship vanished into the cold abyss of space. No one knew where they were taken. No message ever came. For months, the colony was silent, grieving. Then, one night, the ship returned. It landed in the same place it had departed from. The ramp lowered, and the 100 children walked out. But something was wrong. They did not smile. They did not cry. They did not blink. They moved in perfect unison, their footsteps eerily synchronized. Their eyes, once full of life, were empty, black voids that reflected nothing. A mother rushed forward, sobbing, grabbing her son. He did not move. His skin was ice cold. Then he whispered, in a voice that was not his own, "We are the children no longer." And that night, the colony fell silent forever.